That's how social media manipulates you. Here we go.
Nosedive, a real but hyperbolic depiction of social media addiction.
Ooh.
Season 3, Episode 1 of Black Mirror follows the story of a woman who wants to keep up with the Joneses. Lacey wants a bigger house, approval from her rich friends, and to be seen as someone of importance. In fact, it's not even by her own volition that she craves these things. It is a side effect of terminal social media use and self-comparison. The set of this episode is stylized with a 1950s suburban aesthetic. It's clean and bright with desaturated pastel colors that makes everything seem a bit too polished. It indicates bliss, a world free of problems, a fake veneer to match everyone's inauthentic self. A social media rating system rules this landscape. It's eerily similar to Uber's 5-star rating system, where both passenger and driver rate each other after a ride. In this case, every social interaction equals a rating. Someone looked at you funny? Low rating. The barista made your cappuccino extra tasty? High rating. Even more dystopian, you rate each other to their face and get immediate feedback based on your actions or their subjective opinion. In this world...
Oh, wow. So, okay, I like that. That's interesting. Yeah, it's like a social credit score or something like that.
People are constantly judged and categorized based on their ratings.
True.
For example, if you have a high rating, you have access to certain perks like discounts on housing and luxury seating on planes. Things that those lowly...
I will say that they do give those to streamers and stuff like that too. So the funniest thing, like, I love it whenever... Do you guys remember who was the guy that did the video about... It was the guy that did the SoCal Killer video. And he did another one about how the CIA was trying to infiltrate MMOs. And like how they were trying to do it and like what the plan was behind it. And then at the very end of the video, he's like, yeah, and all this was actually real. It actually happened. I love that shit. It's like the convergence where the reality is stranger than fiction. I love it. I think it's great.
Rated peasants can only dream of. And if you're unfortunate enough to have a low rating...
Oh, they even have, by the way, this is a little bit of a fun fact. I don't think people probably would know this. They actually recently, this is maybe like a year ago, there was a insurance and loan company that was made for, I hate using the word, influencers to get loans and insurance out of. So there is actually a real life company that was made that follows the same paradigm of this episode. It happened last year.
People will pretend not to look at you and be reluctant to give you any attention. There are even social media analytic experts that offer you solutions on how to boost your score that you too can live like the elites.
We just
Anything in the 4s is good, but 4.2 and above is really where you want to be to reap the benefits of high society.
Yeah.
Lacey toes the line of these high rating scores until, you guessed it, she takes a nosedive. A snowball effect of negative social interactions that effectively exiles her from society. In this case, it's the protagonist's worst nightmare.
I mean, that kind of happened to Greek. I mean, that's what's so crazy. It's like, I think about these guys, like, this shit happened to people. Like, it's so crazy whenever you think about, like, what the reality is.
Arbitrary rating system should remind you of the credit score system. If you have a low score, you can't get approved for loans or have access to the resources you would need to even have the same opportunities as people with high scores.
Yeah.
And in the same way, this system is rigged against you. Life events and unlucky circumstances can happen at any moment and throw you off track. These experiences are oftentimes unavoidable and out of your control. For the majority of people, social media is an extension of oneself. If you have a weird social media presence, you fundamentally are weird, right? Green versus blue text bubbles, the amount of likes you get, the amount of followers you have, blue check marks.
I've watched a lot of guys, like, for example, I've watched, like, guys that are, like male self-help gurus type thing, right? I've watched a number of these videos. As soon as I started getting recommended Andrew Tate ones, I've been recommended other ones as well. And these guys itemize a guy's Instagram following and their advice for guys to do things with their Instagram following, they itemize it down in the same way that they do with the Black Mirror stuff. So it's actually like the real shit.
These are all nonsensical components that play into the greater machine of our technological society and how we view others. In typical Black Mirror fashion, this episode portrays an exacerbation of very real consequences of social media addiction and what that means for society.
I just don't think
this
it's that
episode's narrative was so influential that it was responsible for the CEO of Instagram to implement hiding likes on their platform. We get a sense of Lacey's socially conditioned trauma when she practices her fake laugh in front of a mirror, because she's scared her real laugh is ugly. And throughout this episode, we hear this nightmarish laugh in an attempt to fit in. This theme serves as a constant reminder that Lacey is pretending to be someone that she's not. Lacey longs to be accepted to the in crowd, except...
I don't know why there are some people that turn being social in a social environment into some sort of fucking, weird Kafka metamorphosis shit. Like, I act different around other people. Like, I think there's people that, like, they overanalyze social interactions to the point to where they become so distant from common sense that things become crazy. It's like, yeah, I act different around different people. Sure. Like, I sometimes I will, like, I'll look at myself in the mirror and, like, I'll be like, okay, if I look this way, how will I look? I look that way, how will I look? I think that there's, like, the thing is that doing that is not, like, fundamentally bad, but living your life around it is. You see what I'm saying? That's a persona. Yeah, I think it's human nature. And so it's like there has to be, like, there's like some spectrum of this. It's normal behavior. Yeah, exactly. It's like analyzing people, but not like it's like obsessing over it. It's like you obsess over it so much it becomes dehumanizing. And I think this episode is kind of what happens, like whenever that comes full circle.
Not for who she is, rather a version of herself whose shit doesn't stink, prim, proper, and plastic. We see her addiction to social media manifest itself in the phone eats first phenomenon, a practice of taking pictures of your food before you eat it, or not being able to chow down and enjoy your food because you're too worried about taking pictures of it. This stems into a much larger conversation that I would argue is the antidote to the dystopia: presence. Simply being present and being aware of the moment that you're in is the best thing.
I'm trying to think, like, how many times have I taken a picture of my own food? Sometimes, whenever I'm cooking a steak, and the steak's looking real good, and I'm fucking hungry, I'm gonna take a picture of this steak. I'm like, man, I'm gonna remember this steak. This was a good fucking steak, man. Like, I straight up have done that before. And, like, maybe one or two times whenever I've been out somewhere, if they, like, serve me some crazy shit, I might take a picture of it. But, like, like, doing it, the phone eats first, that's not, bro, like, that's so, oh my God. That is such a good fucking phrase. I love that. Wow, that's good.
You can do for your mental health when it comes to social media.
I have,
the
like,
funniest
probably 10
part about
pictures
this
of different
scene is
steaks
that
I've
she
cooked.
doesn't even like the food.
I swear
However,
to God.
she loves the positive
They all look
attention
the
she
same,
gets from
too.
her post about it. Social media acts as a replacement for personality in shallow people. Go on Instagram and look up the name of your local, overpriced, chuggy bar or nightclub. You'll see what I mean real quick in the tagged pictures. To these people, looking the part is all they need to feel validated.
Yeah,
Likes, comments, and engagement feed their fragile egos like a starving beast. Undeniably, there are nuances within social media apps that people are subconsciously aware of, and they allow them to dictate how they act on social media. The clothes that you wear, even the sizes, the food that you eat, the places that you visit, the cars you drive, the job you have, the people you associate with, the followers you have, the show.
I think what's more important than any of that is confidence. I think that, like, you can find a bunch of people that break the mold of every single thing that you should do that are still successful, but the only common variable is that they live an existence that's true to themselves and it's reflected in their content, And people like seeing that. I think that's what matters more than anything. And there's a lot of other people that try to emulate that, but they miss where that's really coming from. They think that it's about the likes, but the people that are doing it, that are successful in some of these circumstances that break the rules, yeah, it's nice to get the likes. It's important. Sure, it's all right, cool. But it's mainly about just doing whatever the fuck they want. It's almost like people that try to pretend to be alpha, right? Or they try to pretend to be a label.
You watch, the music you listen to. Everything is compartmentalized and consumed by others, and then shit out to form a baseline judgment on you. Even the mattress you sleep on. Which is why today's video is sponsored by Helix.
What?
Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses and bedding customized to fit your needs, conveniently shipped in a box right to your doorstep. But everybody's different, and Helix knows that. That's why they designed a sleep quiz that helps match your unique sleeping preferences with your body type. Based on your different sleeping positions and preferred mattress firmness, they have something for everyone. And if you happen to sleep with a partner or even a pet, you can take the quiz together and find the best compromise for all of you. I prefer a medium mattress feel, and I tend to sleep on my side and stomach, and I'm a giant human, so I went with the king-size Midnight Luxe. You guys know that I've been sleeping on Helix mattresses for well over a year now, and ever since I moved, I had to upgrade from a queen to a king. That's how much I love my Helix mattress. I'm able to fall asleep in a matter of minutes, and I wake up every morning feeling really refreshed. The best part about Helix is that your new mattress comes to you. Gone are the days of going to an old mattress store and having to sit through an annoying...
I had to do this with my dad. I had to do this with my dad. When my dad's like, I need to get a new mattress. And I had to buy him, it was like $1,000, so $2,000 to get him a new bed and everything.
Sales pitch that takes forever. I even had fun setting up my Helix. It took me just about 5 minutes to carry it up the stairs and watch my new bed spring to life. Helix Sleep also offers free shipping to anyone in the US, and they have a 100-night sleep trial.
Really impressive.
This gives you a little bit over 3 months to completely fall in love with your new mattress. And if you don't, they will come and pick it up for you, no questions asked, and you will get a full refund. Helix mattresses all come with a 10-year warranty, and they offer flexible payment plans and financing options. So a great night's sleep is never that far away. I love my Helix, and I think you would too. If you're...
That's nuts, man. You know, I used to have a bed, and the bed was 100 years old. It was like my mom's great aunt slept on that bed, and then I had it. It was just a mattress, really. And then whenever I was like 13 or 14, maybe 11, I don't remember, 12 or 11, somewhere around there, I got another bed. And I've had that bed since then. I've never changed my bed. I will sleep on that bed for the rest of my life. I've never even thought about getting a new bed. Yeah, time for a Helix sponsorship. I mean, shit. Like, if I had more room, I'd get one of these and see what it's like. But I just don't have any room in my house. You have no idea what a good feeling it is then? Nah, bro. Like, I used to sleep on a sofa. You know, like those fold-out sofa beds? Like, that was the one that that Charlie showed in his video. Like, I sleep on that shit all the time. It was great.
The need for a new bed, check out Helix. Go to helixsleep.com/Philion to get up to $200 off your new mattress, plus 2 free pillows. And thank you to Helix for sponsoring this video.
Yeah,
these types of socioeconomic ratings are built into our everyday life.
Yeah, they are.
Credit score, programs for people who pay premiums, lofty, comfortable accommodations for those deemed worthy enough, whether it be your social status or money in your...
By the way, a little peek behind the curtain is that this is a lot like the way streamers interact with each other on a very, very real way.
Bank account. In every aspect of our culture,
not just
people are ranked and
creators.
Organized in an invisible caste system. Lacey lets her one false idea of what it means to make it dictate every decision in her life. She has to attend her friend's wedding who treated her like shit because Force will be there. And she has to live in the rich neighborhood despite not being able to afford it. She changes her behavior to live in accordance with people she doesn't even like. This means losing any sense of self, down to the way that she laughs and eats. The most primitive, basic human experiences that make you, you. In a world where everyone is competing to be the same, being different is everything. Social comparison works in 3 ways: upward, lateral, and downward. Upward social comparison is when you rank yourself against other people that you deem are happier or more successful than you.
This is just like the typical high school totem pole. Very simple. Everybody understands that. Like, as I said, you know, we played Magic at lunch in high school. We were pretty low on the totem pole. But the one thing is that we could think the only people lower than us were the people that played fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! And we could look at them and be like, those guys are, I mean, like, those are some real fucking losers, man. I tell you something. Those guys were fucking losers, man. And, like, it's like the only way you can let you feel just a little bit better about yourself.
The problem with this is that social media is an illusion. It is a highlight reel of someone's life that they want to portray as the real thing. It shouldn't surprise you that researchers have found that upward social comparison has been linked with decreased mood, depression, and a poor self-concept. It's the worst among adolescents, and it's more common with girls. The whole notion sounds self-evident, but nobody really takes it seriously. We see upward social comparison when Lacey idolizes mid to high 4s. She puts on a fake smile and personality and even tries to win them over with gifts. She wants to buy a house she can't afford and assimilate with the aristocrats. In some regards, upward social comparison can motivate an individual to change, except in this dystopia, everyone is fake as fuck, so this aspect of upward social comparison doesn't really apply. After all, it's not like these are stand-up members of society that Lacey wants to emulate. They're pretentious NPCs.
No, exactly. Like, people just try to act the way that people want them to act. And I think that that's what people that are mediocre without confidence do. Because they can't be themselves, because they're not confident in who they really are. And they have nothing really to show for who they are. So they try to put on some fucking fake face and be some bullshit because they think that's the only way people will like them.
Lateral social comparison is when you rank yourself against people that are on your level. Usually, people associate with peers that are around the same age and share similar interests. We see a demonstration of lateral social comparison when Lacey is in her office gossiping to her coworker about Chester. Despite being a nice guy, he has a low rating based on factors out of his control. Downward social comparison happens when you rank yourself against people who are perceived to be inferior to you. It is a mechanism that is meant to boost your own self-esteem. And
that's why people love watching things like Jerry Springer and Maury. And I think that's why a lot of other people are hate watchers on streams. Is that they'll watch somebody who they fucking hate, but they think they're better than that person, and it makes them feel better about themselves. Like, I see this with, like, Wings of Redemption, DSP, people like that. It's like they can be a complete fucking loser, but they can look at this guy and say, hey, at least I'm not him. Same as rednecks can watch Jerry Springer and say, hey, this guy fucks his sister, what a loser, I only fuck my cousin. It's the exact same thing. People just want to have somebody. It's like remember in like elementary school, whenever there'd be a fat kid in school that would call the other fatter kid fat? That's what it was like.
This episode demonstrates the problem with downward social comparisons. A character is introduced with a rating of 1.4 that used to be a 4.6. She has since renounced her high-class snobby lifestyle for a more raw and real-life experience. She is wiser and more free than Lacey ever hopes to be. Throughout the episode, Lacey also demonstrates a downward social comparison with her brother. She sees him as a deadbeat slob, someone who plays video games all day and doesn't strive to be greater. His score is in the 3s, but he doesn't—
Seems like a 9 to me. Yeah, that seems like a 9. There he is, he's right there. Guy's not too bad.
Doesn't care. He's actually happy. Social media is nothing to him and everything to her. He acts in accordance with his beliefs, whereas she doesn't. Her brother pokes holes in Lacey's upward and downward social comparisons. She is constantly pretending to be something she's not, and using him as a way to feel better about herself. Meanwhile, her brother is just his true self. As a result, we see her cognitive dissonance boil up, as her rating continues to nosedive. And all of this comes to a head in the final third act. Lacey's initial plan was to deliver a tone-deaf speech about getting caught up in the little things, like social media, at her childhood best friend or bully's wedding. We learn that Naomi only wanted her there because she was a 4.2, before nosediving trying to get there, and it would appear humble to the high fours. Lacey was also eager to dismiss all of the abuse from Naomi over the years because she saw the event from a socially opportunistic perspective. This highlights one's willingness to forget about the negative side of people when you have something to gain. It isn't until Lacey gives an explosive speech at the wedding where she snaps back to reality, metaphorically escaping her mental prison while being thrown into a physical one. Except she's never been more free.
Fuck you!
Fuck you next Wednesday.
Fuck you for Christmas.
It's like Twitch chat. Yeah, that's perfect. It's just like Twitch chat. Yeah, I want to go to prison now. It sounds great. Oh my god. The episode was incredible. Yeah, I like that. I think that I think again, there's a lot of people that do a lot of I would say intellectual masturbation about how bad social media is. I don't think it's as cut and dried as that. Now, I've gotten a lot out of social media over the years, and it's given me a way to keep up with family members and friends that don't live near me. There's a lot of good things about social media, and it can be a nice thing. But as with everything, I think that social media definitely, it's like a magnifying glass on mental disorders. It's like if there's something wrong in your head, social media will make sure that you never forget about it. And it will like always, yeah, it's always that the cons outweigh the pros. I don't think so. I think that social media is generally a good thing. I am pro social media. I like social media. However, that doesn't mean that it's always good. There are many cases where it's not good. It's a good thing in moderation. Yeah, I think that it can be a very good thing in moderation. I think that it can be uplifting in many regards. But as with everything, people that are too focused on other people and they're placing in those other people's worlds, I think the truth is that people were doing this, keeping up with the Joneses. Keep in mind, this was like a 60s meme. That shit came out like fucking 100 years ago or something like that. Or 50 or whatever, I don't know how long, 60 years ago. It's not like this is some kind of like a new fucking concept that people had, and it was so resounding then, that's why we're using it now, 60 years later. So the idea that this is something that's manifested by social media is just clearly not true. However, I think social media has exacerbated it with a lot of people. I would say that. Social media itself is fine. Doesn't become a replacement of all social interactions for you. End up becoming a tilted view of reality. Yeah, I think so. Social media is only good to promote business. That's it. It depends. Social media makes it worse for many people. I think that I think you can make an extremely compelling and strong argument that social media is not good for people under the ages of 18. Like, I think for a 12-year-old girl, giving her an Instagram account, and I'm not talking about groomers, is a bad idea. I think that is a genuinely bad idea, and it probably creates more problems than it creates positivity. I feel like, yeah, my child got a dumb phone. Yeah, I mean, sure. And it's fucking algorithms that fuck social media. It leads to an unhealthy amount of mindset of unreal expectations. Exactly, yeah. And what's your opinion on Elon Musk's social media opinion? I'd have to listen to what he said. That's what it was. And generally using social media for friends and family is a good idea. Yeah, I think it's fine too. I think that people paint with too broad of a brush. I think that social media can be uplifting for a lot of people, and they don't have to get the keeping up with the Joneses mindset and everything like that. I think that's very important. But, you know, you have a video like this and you talk about it. It's absolutely a big problem that we have in America, you know? Like, it's a huge problem in the world. I think it's not just in America. It's like everybody in, like, the Western world are like this. And my understanding is that it's even worse in places like South Korea, where, like, you know, a lot of girls get, like, plastic surgery whenever they turn a certain age. Their parents even pay for it. It's kind of crazy how just accepted things like that are. But the fact is that there's plenty of other, you know, people in America that do the exact same thing. I think there's a study about underage Instagram accounts having a terrible impact. Yeah, I can see that as being a very big negative. You know, like, and again, this is outside of, like, the weird, like, fucking groomer shit, right? It's just bad on a fundamental level. Because, like, you have, like, I've used this analogy before, right? You have, like, some 12-year-old girl, and, you know, she's not as pretty as she wants to be, and, or maybe she thought she was until she saw people on Instagram, and she doesn't realize that the woman that she's looking at on Instagram had 3 filters, 2 editors, and 5 nose jobs. Because all she sees, and she's 12, she doesn't fucking know any of that, she just sees somebody who looks better than she's ever going to look, and she hates herself now. And I think that happens with guys, too. Absolutely. And don't base your self-image and esteem on social media. Yeah, I think that's very important. I totally agree with that. Yeah, sport girls. Meanwhile, guys our age will spend most of their years alone. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I think that for girls, like let's be honest here, girls are judged more harshly on their appearance. Like, that's just a fact. I think that if you deny that fact, I will not have a further conversation with you because you are detached from reality. You are completely detached from reality, and we're not having a real conversation. Yeah, that's what it is. However, it does happen to guys. And I think that the rise of people like Andrew Tate are evidence that it happens to guys. I think Andrew Tate and people like him are a result of that exact thing. And other people around that spectrum, too. For men, it's height. Well, I've heard of the 3 6s. 6 inches, 6 figures, and 6 feet tall. You know, I've heard of that a lot. And I think that guys, like, the worst thing about that is 2 out of the 3 they can't control. Should I fail at all 3? I mean, like, well, then it doesn't matter because there's other things you can be successful in. But, like, for young guys, you know, they just see that, and then they feel like they can't. It's like it's insurmountable. For public, yes, but guys find way more women attractive than girls do for guys. Well, I don't know about that. I have no idea. I can tell you this, right? Is that if you look at the top 100 male streamers and the top 100 female streamers, I think that you would have, and you had the opposite sex rate them, I think that you would probably have higher ratings for the females than the males. And I think that would be true to a substantial degree. It easily happened with guys. Had a woman to work with tell me straight up that none of the Marvel movie stars use steroids, and the guy can get their physique like that if he worked out enough. Yeah, well, I mean, they're stupid, so who cares? Like, I mean, what are they going to talk to you about after that? Like fucking horoscopes and, like the Kardashians? Who gives a fuck what they think? They're just stupid. Like, you don't walk down the street, a dog barks at you, you ask yourself what you did wrong. It's a stupid fucking dog. It's barking because it's stupid. Think of some people like that, too. It'll help. That's the way I do. On Tinder, guys find 50% of girls attractive and girls only 5%. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, like, that's the trend, right? Is that girls are going to try to date up, guys usually have to date down. That's a fact. And why is that? Well, it's because a girl can only really be in a serious relationship with one guy. Because she can only be pregnant with, you know, one guy's kid at a time, basically, right? Whereas a guy, it's just, I mean, how much of the population is related to Genghis Khan now? Isn't it like still like 2% of like China or something? I mean, that guy got around. It's open season, yeah, and so it's just again, like a lot of people, they view these gender inequalities as a construct of society, but I think that whenever you really look at where they come from, a lot of them make sense. Bro, what? You're stuck in the 40s or something? Women can do whatever the fuck they want. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, no, they can't. They can't leave the house. Women shouldn't be able to have shoes because then they'd be able to drive, and we can't have that. Yeah, that's totally what I mean, man. Yeah, true, brother. True. Listen, man, if you're gonna go and you're gonna put those words in my mouth, I'll finish the fucking sentence because you're an idiot. Yeah, what do you think? I'm gonna. Is it now my responsibility to disabuse you of your stupid opinion? No, think whatever you want. So yeah, that's the way I see it. That's my goal. Have thousands of me's walking around in the future. Exactly. Any guy that has personal hygiene can get a girlfriend. Facts. There's a lot of ways it can happen. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fucking relationship expert. My best advice is that if you want to get a girlfriend, treat the girl like a person. not a vending machine for sex. And if you do that, and you care about what she cares about, and you listen to her, and you treat her like a normal person, that's gonna go a pretty long fucking way. Yeah. That's gonna go a real long fucking way. You gotta have a homosexual mindset? Bro, stop that, man. Like, quit being fucking weird. Here's the reality, is that, stop, why, I don't know why I get all people like to talk like that all the time in my chat. I don't know why. And anyway, maybe everybody gets them, I just read them more? I don't know, I feel like I get a lot of them. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Point is that a lot of people that go out there and they just act like fucking assholes. Like, I've seen girls' DMs, right? I have friends that are girls. I've seen their DMs. Believe me when I say, if you treat them like a person, you will be in that 5%. That's all you have to do. Yeah, that's all you have to fucking do. It's not complicated, it's not hard. And what's this here? Not wrong, lies. It's not true, it's not true. All right, that's fine. Listen, I am not a particularly attractive guy, but me and Cody used to be hitting up girls. Fucking, we would copy paste messages to these girls, and we would get hits, I would say more than 10% of the time. This is 10 years ago. You go ask Cody. He can confirm all this shit. We would do this all the fucking time. 10% was insanely good. That is insanely fucking good. And anybody who does that, like, knows that 10% is massively fucking good. Wish all men could switch for a month. Men and women could switch for a month. I think that would be good. Yeah, if you could just, like, re-roll for, like, a month. Be like, man. Like, I remember thinking that, too. Like, I was like, man, dude, mages have it so easy. Like, it must be so fucking easy being a mage. And then I finally go and I play a mage, and I'm like, man, this shit sucks. I'm gonna go be a warrior again. I think that's what would happen to like fucking 95% of guys if they had to be a girl. I'll tell you one thing, man. I feel lucky, and I thank God every day that I was born a man. I'm so glad. I feel like women have to deal with way more bullshit. They have way more things against them, way more problems. I am so happy I was born a man. You get laid easier, though? There are some ugly fucking dudes that I know that find new girlfriends all the time. I don't even know how that shit happens, I'm gonna be honest. But they do it. Like, like, every single time I see some fucking, like, 10 out of 10 fucking Instagram model that is so fucking hot. Oh my God, she's so hot. And I see her boyfriend. Her boyfriend is an overweight dude with an oversized t-shirt, a snapback with a sticker on it. He's on his phone while she's doing her fucking makeup. I'm like, how the fuck does that happen? And I know that people, like, the thing is, there are going to be a lot of guys that are going to be like, oh, it's because of money. A lot of these guys are not making as much money as a fucking 9.5 out of 10 girl is going to be making on OnlyFans. It's not going to happen. These girls make a lot of money, and you want to know why I think a lot of guys say it's because of money? It's because they don't have money, and it gives them an excuse for them to say why it's not their fault that they don't have a hot girlfriend too. That's the one thing that they can say, oh, well, I don't have this, so that's what it is. Quit being a fucking pussy.